Dozens of volunteers over at the University of Hawaii Maui College helped prepare 6,000 meals yesterday for shelters and first responders. Those on the kitchen line included culinary instructors and students, and a shout out, of course, to some well-known folks who have ties to the island. Oprah Winfrey handed out pillows and other supplies to people at a shelter. She owns roughly 2,000 acres here on Maui.
It is amazing how people are stepping up, and Amazon's Jeff Bezos and fiancee Lauren Sanchez are establishing a $100 million fund to help Maui get back on its feet. And in the coming years,
this is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. Isn't it so kind of Oprah to show up from her $5 million castle that she has in Maui to put a pillow behind someone's back? And isn't it even nicer for Jeff Bezos to donate $100 million to rebuilding Maui, to rebuilding Lahaina? I mean, that's really, really kind of them. We should all be applauding them, of course, for their kind gestures. I mean, Oprah's showing up helping people put pillows behind their backs. She's not offering her home or anything like that. Not that she should. And I guess they just have kind hearts. And of course, they have ties into Maui. And isn't it, because I'm a big believer in coincidence, isn't it a crazy coincidence that Bezos owns land there and a mansion there, and so does Oprah? And none of it got touched during this fire? I mean, boy, God really is good to these people, I suppose. There's no way that this could be controlled in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I'm going to show you some stuff that really ties into this that should make people a little bit suspicious, such as where the fires were and what Oprah owns in Maui. She owns, or he owns 870 acres. She owns a lot there in Kula, which is somewhat close to the fire. So maybe, it's just a way to clear out some of the land there, because they're going to need a lot of that land cleared out to put this big city in, And of course owns 100 acres in Hana, but none of it got touched, and Bezos' house didn't get touched, and all these other celebrities didn't get touched who have homes there, like Jim Carrey. But let me start by reading you an article which is dated from March 8th of this year, that Oprah owns 870 acres of picturesque land on the Hawaiian island of Maui, adding to her portfolio of real estate in the Aloha State. It's like she owns the majority of land on the entire island, isn't it? Like, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? Yeah, think about it. So this article says that the TV host and entertainment mogul splashed out $6.6 million on the land in the Kula region, close to the stunning ranch she already owns on the island. Oprah's recent purchase, revealed in sales deeds, means she now owns around 1,000 acres of Maui. That's right, 1,000 acres. She reportedly snapped up the new plots in several purchases, a 520-acre parcel. That's a lot of acres for an island. And a lot of acres for anybody, of course, but for an island here, right? For a 3.89, 520-acre parcel. A 330-acre parcel, no coincidence there. It was probably 331 or 29. She asked them to round up. She loves that number. A 330-acre parcel for $2.47 million, and two 10-acre parcels, right? So it goes on to say that Oprah, whose net worth is estimated in between $2.5 billion and $3 billion, is one of several billionaires to buy up land in Hawaii, to the frustration of locals who say it's pricing them out of the market. That's very interesting. That's very interesting, because I've heard a lot that a lot of the locals, conveniently and coincidentally, unfortunately, in Lahaina were asked to sell their land repeatedly, and they did not want to sell it. But they felt like they were getting priced out of the market. They felt like they were getting pushed by a lot of these celebrities. You may have heard that Mark Zuckerberg, our friend Mark Zuckerberg, yeah, is he human? No way. Mark Zuckerberg owns $100 million worth of property in Hawaii as well. That's right. On the island of Kauai, he purchased all of this land. It's a little bit crazy, right? So Mark Zuckerberg owns the majority of land, and he owns, get this, one 750-acre property. He has another one that's 357 acres and another one that's 393 acres. So he has over 1,000 acres as well. This on the island of Kauai. It's like, are they buying up all the land there? Are they going to make their own little plethora of Epstein Islands? Very possible, isn't it? But no, really, isn't anybody suspicious at all that these celebrities on this small island of Maui, I mean, it's not a real big island, it's an island after all, that they all own all this property there, and that people in Kauai have accused Zuckerberg of trying to force the tenant farmers from their historic plots. And Zuckerberg is colonizing Kauai, according to a petition which was launched by the people of Hawaii. So, did anything happen to any of the land that Oprah owned? No. Was there any other celebrities in Maui who owned land? Let's see. Oprah Winfrey, Peter Thiel. He was the founder of PayPal. He happens to own land there, but don't get worried or panic. His property wasn't touched or torched either. Jeff Bezos, of course we know that his wasn't torched or touched. Then we have Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. He happens to own land there. Of course, Fleetwood Mac, all musicians, all witches and warlocks. Clint Eastwood, he owns property there. Steven Tyler, the Satanist himself, he owns land there. Don't worry, his land is perfectly fine. Jim Carrey, Owen Wilson, Woody Harrelson, all just happen to own land there, all unaffected by the nuke that went off on the coast. And at the same time, all the citizens there, all the people who happen to live on the island, all were claiming that they were trying to get them to sell their property and force them off the island. So, does it seem like there's a plan there to do something with the islands? Is anyone suspicious yet? I mean, all the celebrities all seem to be friends. They all have the same politics, ideologies as one another. Jim Carrey, the high satanic priest in California, right? They all have the same politics as one another. Just coincidentally, they all live in the same areas as one another. They all happen to own land, not all of them, but a lot of them own land in Maui. Zuckerberg's pretty much bought the entire island of Kauai, right? And when people were asked to sell their land and refused, well, conveniently, a wildfire on the island of Maui swept in, where all the homes, every single one, Lahana, happened to burn to the ground. Not even one house remained. Not even one. That's how bad the fire was. But not one house, not one building, not one home remained. Oh, but some trees did, and some bushes, because, when there's a wildfire, we all know they usually don't target trees or actual tinder or kindling or any of that stuff that would actually immediately catch. They pretty much go around them, target the homes, burn them down, and then just kind of avoid the actual trees. So the wildfire, I guess, just started in thin air. And that's another thing. They're not even giving us any reasoning for the fire. They're having a tough time coming up with it because it happened so fast, which also makes me think, that's really strange. But I believe what the government's the media is telling us. They're not working hand in hand. You see, there's the government who's in charge, who's working for us. And then there's the media, who are the actual smart journalists who are telling us what's actually happening. None of these people work together. And then, of course, the celebrities and the owners of all these big tech companies who have our best interest at hand as well, and care about all of us because they always come out as philanthropists, right? Because there was no emergency sirens that went off. No emergency sirens were activated at all. So the fire started, and if it started where they say it started, maybe an alarm would have went off, right? But I guess they almost wanted to make sure that the people who lived in those homes, that they didn't have a head start, because, then they might actually want to keep their land still or get insurance, but they want to make sure that didn't happen, right? So the alarm didn't go off. They go off for tornadoes and stuff. If you're not familiar, if you're young or, if you're in a town and there's a tornado coming, there's a siren that goes off to warn people so that they can go hide in a bomb shelter. Maybe they would have wanted to warn people. And of course, we have the mainstream media like CNN putting out articles saying that people, Maui didn't listen, that they were warned, they were warned, and they just didn't do anything with the climate to combat the wildfires because, they always happen in Maui. Yeah. So I don't know if you believe in coincidences or not. I'm somebody who, obviously, these celebrities are just wonderful people. Wonderful people. They all care about us. That's why they're all involved in politics. That's why they censor free speech on big tech sites like, YouTube. I don't know. I'm just, I guess I'm just paranoid conspiracy theorist when I see things that should be common and make people ask questions. I guess I asked too many questions, right? So they're all perfectly fine. Don't worry. All those celebrities who haven't owned land there are fine. All the people who didn't own land there, all the people who aren't celebrities, of course, lost their land. And it just conveniently was that they were getting priced out and told that they weren't, needed to sell their property and get off the island when they didn't want to because they lived there their whole lives. So what are the plans for the Hawaiian Islands? Is that the big question we all should be wondering? We all should be wondering that, right? If Zuckerberg owns all that land and Oprah owns all that land. I mean, why would you just buy all that land up there? Huh? And now conveniently for Oprah, I guess some of that land opened up. I'm sure the fire might have touched some of it, right? So now it's perfect spot. Oprah maybe will give her land up because, that's what philanthropists do. They care so much about the little person. I'm sure Oprah will offer some of that land that she had in the middle of the island up to this new smart city to rebuild Maui, make Maui great again, or build back better, whichever one of the propaganda phrases you want to use, as all these people work together to destroy our society, to kill our citizens off. Whether it was via things like this or another thing where they tricked people and they still haven't been held accountable for and people still defend them, right? But we aren't supposed to have brain cells and ask questions. We're supposed to see stuff like this with Oprah owning half. Now, what does Oprah own? Half the island, right? Now that land, who's going to own that land? Huh? No one is. The state's going to own that land that just got burned up, right? And Oprah will probably conveniently and very kind of her give her land up and then get promoted all over just absolute nauseating television shows like Good Morning America, and we'll hear how wonderful Oprah is, just like we heard in the beginning about how great Bezos and Oprah is. Oh, they're chipping in and doing their best to help the poor people there. Right? The people there, what they should do in that shelter is they should go to Oprah's house, shouldn't they? Remember when that happened to Barry Obama? When people, they had sent some people up to Martha's Vineyard, I think it was, and they just got off a bus and he didn't open his doors to anybody. Whether that story is true or not, I don't know. But these people aren't going to open their doors to anyone. But they're always going to present themselves as philanthropists because, like I've said a million times, if you've listened to my channel in all seriousness, one of the keys to secret societies, what they're taught, is to always be philanthropists. So Bezos coming out immediately is, Bezos doesn't want you to get, asking too many questions about it. Now Bezos can deflect and say somebody who's even asking the question that Bezos had his hand in any of this type of stuff, because we know that America is run by corporations, and what corporation is bigger than Amazon? Really? It's up there, right? Nobody could argue it's not. If it's not the biggest, it's one of the biggest, right? So he just did that out of the goodness of his heart because he cares so much about the island and the people of the island. He wants to make sure that you don't look to him and say, how come Bezos' house is fine, right? Oprah wants to make sure, worth billions of dollars, she wants to make sure you see her on film putting a pillow behind someone's back so that she could say, I was there in the shelter for all of 3 minutes when the cameras were rolling so people don't get suspicious of me either, right? Because that's how they work. They think you're dumber than rocks. They think that everybody is because, they have reason to believe that because the majority of society is, but they don't have to remain that way if they are. They can wake up right now. God gave us all free will. And if people use that free will and they come out of her and they start thinking for themselves, then they'll actually see that these people are plotting together against all of us. White, black, Latino, gay, straight, male, female, Christian, atheist, it doesn't matter. Now we know they target Christians the most because that's what this is about. And this is why they're doing it, because it's a spiritual war. But they keep us divided amongst each other, red and blue, right? That's why the emphasis is on those stories. And that's why when something like this happens and they read the data, they see what's trending, they see people suddenly talking about the energy weapons, they immediately put out deflection on that topic, right? Then what do? Well, then Jeff Bezos gets his $1 million out immediately because people are going, does any celebrity live? Oh, Bezos does. Oh, so Bezos is doing it because Bezos is a good person and he has land there. Oh, okay. Oh, what about Oprah? Oh, Oprah owns a lot of land there. That's also a coincidence that it burned down. How about Steven Tyler? How about the guy who, the founder of PayPal? Yeah? No? Oh, okay. So what is this, Celebrity Island now? Because the only people that are apparently own land there anymore, or at this point, are all celebrities and the government. And guess what? They're in bed with one another. So they're one and the same, right? Because our country isn't run by a government anymore. It's run by corporations. And this is about to become Amazon Island. And I'm sure Zuckerberg's island will become some tech island, right? When are people going to wake up? It is so clear to see. If you're out there, you don't have to like me, you don't have to like the tone of my voice. But how many coincidences do you need to see to finally wake up and realize what these people are? They're dividing all of us. They're destroying all of our lives. The anxiety that you feel, the hatred that you feel, the stress that you feel, it's all caused by them. They're the ones doing all this stuff. They're the ones who are making us all feel this way. Me or you, even if you're gay or you're straight, doesn't matter. They're the ones doing this. They're psychologically damaging us. They're psychologically toying with us. And they're the ones doing it all the manipulation in the media, all the stuff driving everyone crazy, all the freedoms being stolen, all the land that they're taking, all done by these corporations, because this is a communist country now. And all the people that are in politics on the left and the right, they're just actors. There's strings attached to their necks. And unfortunately, the only thing attached to their necks are strings, if you catch my drift. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, what more do you need to see? Pray for the people who suffered on this island. Absolute shame. But don't think for 1 second that this is over, because you or me are next. Because these types of weapons, how do you stop them? What do? You have to look back and ask yourself how we allowed our government to gain access and control over these weapons. Well, we thought that we were at war with the boogeyman, right? We've always been told Russia, China, Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden. Oh, we need these weapons to protect us from another event like the one on the 11th of September occurring, right? We need them. Okay, go build those things. We need the Patriot Act to protect you. Okay, but the people that they were at war with were never any other country. It was always just you and me. You and me. No matter what the differences might be. It's always been a war against us. And now they're showing us this, and they have been for a few years. But this right here, they didn't expect and don't expect this to become some type of conspiracy. But knowing them as well as I do, they will come out and deflect on this because they're insecure. They don't know how to operate the narrative, as you can see. It's a pretty pathetic job of false flags and psyops that they do. But they'll come out and they'll say there's horrible people who are hurting the feelings of the citizens of Maui and saying this or that. When I guarantee you that every citizen on the island of Maui agrees with me. And if they're hearing this video, they're nodding their head yes and agreeing with me. And if anyone is in Maui listening, and I know I don't have a large following, we all know why I don't, which is a shame, but that's life. For those who are listening, my prayers go out to you. It's an abomination what they're doing and what they just did to you, but I don't expect it to stop there. I expect them to continue to grab up land where they want to. They're going to put their smart cities in these spots. They're going to continue to enslave us and take our rights away. And unfortunately, it's the liberal people in this country who are empowering them. Because if they came out of her and they woke up to this and they stopped enabling it, what they're doing, then we could all band together and do something about it. But they're the first line of defense for them. And they're the ones who are allowing them to openly take people's rights away. And then, of course, getting people so riled up to push them into the left and right that they can't see 5 feet in front of them of what they're actually doing. Being herded by your big brother. All these people, big brother, working with government, Oprah included. Working for who, you ask? Who's big brother? They're working for Satan himself. I thank everyone for being here. Reminder, please subscribe to my other 2 channels if you haven't yet. And if you want to support this work, please consider becoming a Patreon. The link is below. All the links are. I obviously could use all the support I could get, but obviously I totally understand times are not very good for anybody. But I appreciate you guys. God bless all of you as always. Prayers out to everybody on the island of Maui. God bless you and your families.